I'm excited to finally be able to make this drone video because I really wanted to show you guys just how fun these things are to play with. I got my first drone as a Christmas gift from my wife just a little over a year ago, and at that time I thought it was an awesome gift, but I never had much room to play with it, being as I lived in a high-rise in the middle of the city. But over the last few months though, ever since we moved into a house, I've been playing with it pretty much every day I can, and I gotta say it's probably one of the funnest toys I've ever owned. Most people know that drones are a huge and growing industry, doing everything from delivering pizza to creating cool shots in movies, to insurance and agricultural applications, to name a few examples. And I definitely never thought much about buying one or owning a drone myself, as I thought the only ones really worth getting were really expensive. But in my experience, that's just not the case at all, especially if you want one just to fly around and don't really care about getting high quality video footage. So in this video, I wanted to just go over the basics of drones by reviewing my first drone, and then compare that to the best-selling drone on Amazon, both of which, by the way, you can get for less than 50 bucks. So the first drone I want to talk about is made by a company called UDI, and it's the model number is 818 A, or you'll see 818 HD, and there's a couple little different features that I'll get to in a second. But you can see, if you take a look at it right here on the table. Now I have a couple different 818 versions here. This is the original one I got, and then I ended up getting another one just because it's kind of cool to have two at home when you have people over and you can fly them together. Now you'll see a lot of different prices for these drones online, and the main reason for that is there's a few different features you can get on the 818. There's three main ones actually, and two of them are on this one, which is the headless mode and the one key return. Now the one key return mode allows you to bring the drone back from wherever you launched it from, but you can't use that mode unless you use the headless mode, which I don't use at all. And the headless mode is kind of like a beginner driving mode, which allows you to control it. Like if you press right on the control pad, it will make the drone go right whether or not it's face forward or backwards. And to me, it's a little more confusing to drive it like that, so I never use it. I think it's better to just kind of use both the sticks and learn how to drive it normally. And then there's the third feature you can get is FPV, which is the first person view. And that allows you to use your phone to connect to the camera, and with the app you can kind of see what the camera is looking at, so you can fly it like that. Which is how actually drone racers race. They race with VR goggles and look through the camera view rather than looking at the actual drone, so it's kind of pretty cool. But you'll pay like $30 or $40 extra to get that, so I don't have that on these. I mainly got this one. It's like $10 more. I got this one because I like the color scheme better. But you can see when it's a pretty good size drone. They're really, really durable. When I first got this, I was thinking it was just gonna break in 1 second. Because it's all plastic, it's super flimsy and stuff. And I've wrecked this at least a couple hundred times learning how to fly it, and I've wrecked it probably as hard as you can imagine. I've dropped it from 100 feet up in the air, I've slammed it into the side of my house, and knocked it on my car a few times, and it still keeps flying. Now this one has started to crack and stuff, but it still is going strong. With most drones, you get replacement blades, and this one comes with replacement accessories as well. So you can see they give you 4 replacement blades. I've never had one crack yet, but these are positional. So this is the A1 white and the B1 white, and then they have B1, A1. If you don't put the right prop in the right position, it won't really get off the ground. So it's just something to kind of note. And it's easy enough to change with the screwdriver they give you. It's just one little screw. You take it out, pop it off, and then put the new one on there. They also give you a set of really tiny gears here, and that's to kind of, I guess, replace these gears. I don't know if they'll fall out or strip or what, but again, I've never had an issue with that. And then the camera takes camera footage. This one came with a 4 gigs, which most of them come now with a 4 gigabyte micro SD card. And this one came with a 2. But they both give you like a USB to micro USB adapter, or a micro SD card adapter, so you can just plug that in your computer and grab the footage. It also takes still footage as well. And then they come with a couple batteries here and a USB charger, so you plug that in any USB and it will charge them up. These are 500 milliamp batteries, and they last for, I'd say, anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes, depending on if you're putting in the high or low speed mode and how much video footage you're taking. I recommend getting some extra batteries, and these are LiPo batteries, so there's a lot of warnings that you should probably read the warning about the LiPo batteries about charging them up, because I guess they're a little finicky, but they have a whole separate insert about the batteries. Anyways, you can get a bunch of extra batteries, which is what I would recommend. I actually bought that, and I'll show you. I don't know where I put that thing. So you can see I bought like a 5 battery charger, and came with 5 batteries. I think I picked this up for about $25, which is, to me, it's worth it, because once you fly it, you don't want to just stop playing with it after 5 or 10 minutes. You want to fly it for 30 or 40 minutes, so you just keep swapping out the batteries. But just to turn this over, I want to show you that one cool thing about the 818 is it has these nice LEDs. And what the LEDs allow you to do is fly it at night, basically, because you have the red
so you know that's the back of the drone, and you'll know the orientation when you're flying it at night. Blue is the front, and then there's a little white LED that comes on here, and so it really allows you to navigate it at night, which is cool. And you'll see the camera on here. It's a fixed camera. It takes 720p video at 30 frames a second, and you can't really adjust it. It kind of points down at 10 degrees as well. And when I saw that, I was like, this isn't going to take very good video, but it's actually surprisingly pretty good quality, and it makes it, it gives a nice little bonus feature that it can take videos to me, and they're pretty good, as you can see here. It has a microphone on it as well, but pretty much the only thing you're going to get is the prop noise on there because it's pretty loud. But yeah, the footage is pretty good. The only thing is this is really, it's a really lightweight drone. It's only 5 ounces, which means you don't have to register with the FAA. It's just a toy drone. But, it tends to kind of be a little shaky. The wind can kind of take it, but it takes fun footage for what it's worth. If you want to take aerial view or get above your house, or if you're in a field or a park, it does take pretty cool video. That's pretty much the main design of these drones. What I want to show you next is kind of all the different features on the controller itself. All right, so I just wanted to kind of go over the different functions of the remote here and just the basic operation of the drone. When you turn the remote on, it will give you an audio confirmation of when it's connected. The first thing you gotta do is you press up and down, and then that'll tell you it's connected there. And then you see an LCD here. This basically gives you a readout of the throttle. I never really look at this when you're flying, but it's kind of cool to have. You'll see this is the speed button down here. That will put it between mode 1 and 2, mode 2 being more sensitive mode. This gives you, it tells you it's connected, gives you the battery. This takes 4 AA batteries. It gives you the battery power, which hasn't budged since I've owned this. So it lasts forever. And there's trim adjustments here. And these trim adjustments just mean like when you're flying this, if it tends to drift right or left or forward or backwards or whatever, you can adjust these trims. But in my experience, the trim goes away every time you replace the battery. And just the default mode, it usually doesn't drift too much. And if it does, I just rather control it with the sticks rather than trying to adjust the trim every time I put a new battery in. But you can do that, so that's kind of cool. And then you see here, this is the camera button and the video button. So if you look on the bottom side here, you'll see this green light. And this green light, once you press the camera button or the shutter button, it will just flash red. That lets you know it took a picture. Or if you press the actual video button, this will blink red to kind of let you know it's taking footage. So when this is up in the air, it's kind of hard to see, but it lets you know if it's taken a video. It also tells you right here on the remote, so that's pretty useful. So that's an up close shot there anyway. So we'll turn that off. You have trigger buttons up here. This is the function button that allows you to kind of mess with the return home and set it up in the headless mode. Like I say, that's more trouble than it's worth. It's confusing how it works, so I never really messed with those. I'll show you the function button and the left trigger button do allow the drone to do flips. So once you hit that and hit the left trigger button, it gives you that signal. And then once you press one of the directions, it will flip the drone in that direction, either forward, backwards, left, or right flip. So you can kind of do some cool tricks when it's up in the sky. You can do barrel rolls and stuff if you get the timing right. And as far as the sticks, the way that these work is the left stick is the throttle, or controls the prop speed. So you can see that's like 6%, doesn't really get it off the ground. I had it on mode 2, so it's a little wily, but all right. Probably it's too much flying there, but what I was saying is that controls the speed up and down, so it controls your altitude, and then left and right on this spins it. Oops. So this spins it, when you press left. All right, I should probably turn that off. When I press left on the left throttle, it will spin this left and right, and then up and down. And then on the right throttle stick, that controls. So when you press forward on the right throttle, it will go forward and then backwards, and then right and left. You can obviously go at angles too, so you can fly all kinds of directions like that. So anyways, that is the main directions of this. And like I say, it's pretty tricky to get used to how to fly that because these are really touchy and sensitive. But once you get the hang of it, it kind of becomes natural to really fly it around. But I guess it's enough talking about it. I'll just show you kind of how it flies in the sky. All right, so we're gonna try to take some footage here. I don't have a cameraman, so I just stuck a GoPro on top of my head. So I'm sorry if it's a little shaky or if things get out of frame. But I'm gonna Plug this battery in. All right. I'm gonna connect it. All right, open the garage. So once it gets above the tree line, it gets a little windy, but it goes up pretty high. You can see. Let's go ahead and flip the camera on. Don't want to lose it. So just press this button. So now it's taking the camera. It's probably shaky as hell, but just for demonstration purposes. So let's see how high I can get it. It's a little windy today, so it's not flying as smooth. But that's about it. Now I'm going to cut it. Still ticking. So that's about how this one flies around. And I'm going to show you how much faster smaller ones are. So that is kind of the 818. Now I wanted to compare this to the other kind of really popular drones on Amazon, which is basically these smaller kind of drones. Now this one's made by Sky Viper. I think this is the model 1700. The major difference is obviously the size, and then it doesn't have a camera. This does have LEDs on the bottom, but you can't really see it at night very well compared to this. And you just take a look at the controller. One other difference here is you have, this has an ability to, you press auto launch and this will bring it a few feet up off the ground, and then you don't really have to control the altitude. It will just manually stay on that plane. So you can fly it around and it will automatically keep its height adjustment for you. I don't really prefer that. You can put it in a full manual mode by launching it by pressing the launch button and the trigger button at the same time, and then you can fly it totally manually, and that's the way I prefer it. Now, by virtue of this being smaller, it's a lot more maneuverable, and it's actually a lot faster than this one. So if you go driving around this one for a while and you go back to this will really start feeling like a big boat or like a Cadillac. Okay, so we're gonna do fully manual mode now, which is to press these. And now we can just really fly it. You can see how high it gets. The one gets higher, faster. Cut it. Starts falling. Uh-oh. Oop. Oh, all right, lost control on that one. Yeah, it's really windy out here. Normally. Ooh, wind took that. Uh-oh, we in trouble, we in trouble. We in trouble.
Alright, well that kind of sucked because I lost that little mini Sky Viper drone in a gust of wind. It kind of just took it over above the tree somewhere in that somebody's yard. I couldn't find it. I looked for like 30-40 minutes. It might have got stuck up in the trees. I couldn't find it. Hopefully at night maybe I'll be able to see the LEDs, but I doubt it because the battery dies quick. But if not, I hope you did at least get a sense of how fast it kind of flies compared to the 818. I have another little drone here in case I don't have enough video to really complete the review. I'll just use that so you can get a sense of the relative speed.
Now I'm just demoing this one because I lost the green one up in the tree and I haven't got it down yet. But you can see these little Sky Viper drones are just way faster.
It's not even close. But they're a little more susceptible to the wind. You can see how much faster it turns. But it's also harder to see which way's forward. So you gotta keep them a little closer.
So, I mean, they both kind of have little different flying characteristics, so it's just kind of personal preference. I do prefer the smaller, faster one, but that's just me. Now, these smaller ones do have the prop protectors on here. Like, this is completely protected, but these smaller ones, I don't have the protector on me, but it used to be on here. What you can do is, once you get good at flying them, you can take them off, and it responds and just flies a lot better without the prop protector. And this one, you can see it's made by Sky Viper as well, but this one has 3 props on it, and here's kind of what the prop protector look like. And once you take this off, they just fly a lot better. But anyway, the other major difference on this is there's 3 sensitivities, and the battery lasts a lot longer on this. So this particular one came with only a 350 milliamp battery, but you can get the replacement batteries, which are 650 milliamps, and they're about $10 each, and that allows the flight time on this to be up to 15 minutes, even on sensitivity 3, which is awesome. On this one, if you run it on mode 2, batteries it's a 500 milliamp battery by comparison, and that will only last about 5 minutes or so. So it definitely goes away quick. But I would definitely recommend getting the biggest milliamp battery you can. That's something to kind of note when you're shopping for a drone, because the flight time, it gets annoying when it just dies so quick. I also have this, we also got this little one here. This is another toy, the Millennium Falcon. This is kind of cool at night. Now, this one I would fly indoors because you can see the props are completely protected. And it's just styrofoam, so you can hit stuff and it doesn't really mark up the walls or anything that you're crashing into. It's really very safe. And this flies a lot slower. I'll show you that here. And you can see that it just really floats and it's a lot more controllable. So this is more like an indoor drone for sure. Anyways, that's kind of a cool thing. So that's just another one we've been playing with. So that's really kind of the 2 major cheap drones you can get on Amazon. You know, under $50, you can go with a smaller kind of one or a bigger one that maybe not as maneuverable, but then it comes with a camera. You can get smaller ones with cameras too, but then, you know, price differences come into play. But anyway, I've been really happy with both these drones. They're both really, really fun to play with.
I definitely highly recommend them. But thanks a lot for watching, y'all. You guys take care.